Well, hello and welcome to a new video. Today I'm in Dartmoor and I'm with my friends Andrew and Jason. It's Andrew on the left there and Jason on the right. Travelled down to Oakhampton this morning and we're starting a 4.5 day walk which we're going to enjoy on Dartmoor, following a wonderful route that will see us head south, then west and then back north towards Oakhampton. Forecast is not great for the next couple of days. We're expecting heavy rain this afternoon, rain tomorrow, but Monday and Tuesday are looking particularly good. Today we're planning on walking via Belstone, which is where we're walking towards now. Then we're going to head up towards Cranmere Pool before putting the tents down, we hope, somewhere near Furtor. So that's the plan. Hope you enjoy the journey.
That's them when they're dry. We'll have a look at them later when they're absorbed.
Yeah, they expand, yeah. I added a couple of extra bits, like some extra lintels of these. They'll expand quite a bit and fill the pot nicely.
Is that the firing range they got coloured in yellow, is it?
Firing range here, yeah. Yeah, it could be quite grim out here, if I'm honest. Nice day to come out here with your friends, isn't it?
Couple of pens, postcards.
Sharpie.
You know, sometimes you look forward to something because you think it's going to be great.
Yeah, and it never is.
Well, this is Cranmere Pool and we're in the middle of Dartmoor and let's be perfectly frank,
Abyss.
there's no pool. We have got the letterbox, which we believe is the first ever letterbox ever hidden on Dartmoor. But apart from that, it's not got a lot to recommend it other than feeling of solitude. So the evening of day one, we're at Furtor, which I'm led to believe is one of the most remote tors on all of Dartmoor. It has rained pretty much from 2:30 on. Was forecast to be heavy rain, but I think we got away with that. And on arrival at Furtor, it has really started to rain properly. So we're all in our respective tents. I'm having macaroni cheese for this evening's meal. Chewing the fat with Andrews in his tent next to me. And yeah, be an early night, and then we'll see how we get on tomorrow. The forecast is rain again all day tomorrow. So not particularly pleasant, but as I said earlier, we know Monday and Tuesday are good, so we might think about shortening tomorrow in order to lengthen then on Monday. But you know, it's all very fluid and flexible, so we'll see how we get on. But for the moment, enjoy the evening in the tents on Furtor, and look forward to getting back out tomorrow. Well, good morning, and good morning from day 2 of our Dartmoor trek, and I'm sat here in my tent on Furtor. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning and I'm looking outside and it is raining. It's a fine drizzle. It's rained on and off during the night quite heavily at times, but the forecast is for rain all day today. But once we get through today, we know that Monday and Tuesday are better weather. So I had my breakfast. I had granola this morning, a lovely cup of coffee. I also had a pan of chocolat which I brought with me which I really enjoyed this morning. Unfortunately not warm in the oven, but it did the job. So from here we're going to leave Furtor. We're going to head over to Winnie's Down, which is apt because Jason, our friend, is Jason Winnie, so have to go to Winnie's Down. Then we're going to head down towards the West Dart River, then down towards Postbridge. From Postbridge we're going to head over to Hexworthy. Hexworthy we're going on to Ryder Hill, and we'll be looking to put the tent down somewhere after Ryder Hill near a stream there. So I don't think I'm going to do a huge amount of filming today. It is a wet day. I don't want to damage my phone. Whatever filming I do is a bonus, but we will go out here in about an hour or so and enjoy the day as best we can.
I think I should do a steeper one. Like.
Well, this is your house on your hill.
It's got to happen, you know.
Winnie's down. Winnie in his home on Winnie's down.
It should be Winnie's house.
Whoever Splat was.
So we've descended into the East Dart Valley, not the West Dart Valley as I mentioned earlier. We've had a lot of tough, rough ground this morning, leaving Fir Tor and climbing over Winnie's Down and then descending to where we are now. This structure behind me is a called the Beehive Hut. There are a number of tinners huts dotted all over Dartmoor. We think we were at one earlier on Winnie's Down, which was called Splat House, I think it was called, and now we're at the Beehive Hut itself. So from here we're going to follow the river down towards Postbridge. Well, that's the end of day 2 and I'm in the tent again talking to the camera. It's blowing outside quite hard, as you can probably see from my tent flapping around, and it's been a pretty grotty, wet afternoon. The forecast was for rain all day, so I have to say that we got lucky this morning because it stopped raining shortly after we took our tents down, and then for a few hours we had dry weather. But after leaving Postbridge, it started raining again. Not particularly heavily, but enough to dampen spirits, and we then walked from Postbridge to Hexworthy. We went into the pub there, had a pint in the pub, and then after the pub we walked up onto Ryder Hill. Really rough ground, tough walking, very wet, and we've dropped down to West Weller Brook where we put the tents down. So we've got a water source close by. I'm just waiting for my savoury rice to hydrate and then I'll be eating that. It's already 20 to 8, so reasonably late I guess, and then once we've eaten, no doubt we'll be putting our heads down ready for an early start tomorrow. And the forecast tomorrow, fingers crossed, is much better weather than we've had for the last couple of days. So see you again on tomorrow. Well, welcome to day 3 of our Dartmoor trek, and this Clapper Bridge behind me, which is a few miles north of Ivy Bridge on the Two Moors Way, is an important site for me because this is the site of my first ever wild camp. Back in '94 I did the Two Moors Way with my dog Charlie and camped at this Clapper Bridge on my first night of the crossing of that trail. So yeah, nice memories. I think it's the first time I've been back since that time, so far too long. Today we've got blue skies, wonderful blue skies. After 2 days of mixed weather, we're going to enjoy the scenery of Dartmoor as we head towards Ditsworthy Warren, and then we're going to head north to Princetown before we look for a camp spot somewhere near Great Mist Tor. So that's the day planned. It is windy, but wonderful scenery, wonderful views, wonderful day. What flavour jam is it?
Black currant.
That's my favourite jam.
I like black currant, yes.
That's my favourite jam. Do you make that yourself?
No.
Jill likes blackberry. Blackberry and apple. I like damson and I like, but blackcurrant is my favourite.
Yeah.
The next door neighbour used to make me damson jam.
Yeah.
If I pick them,
Yeah.
to her, she get about 2 big jars.
We made so much 10 years ago because we had a real massive pile of damsons
Yeah.
given to us that we've still got some left over.
Is that right?
And it's still going. Still fine.
In the freezer, are they?
No, it's in jars. It's because jam is a preserve, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it is preserved. So it's definitely darkened in colour,
Yeah.
but it tastes absolutely fine. Good evening, and good evening from evening 3 of our Dartmoor trek, and I'm in my tent and I'm on Great Mist Tor, which is just to the north of Princetown. We've had a really nice day today. The weather has finally been kind to us. Been a cold northwesterly wind, so I've had the coat on for most of the day, but we've had wide-ranging views and fantastic scenery. So I last spoke to the camera at the Clapper Bridge, where I had my first ever wild camp when I did the Two Moors Way. Well, since then we went down to Ditsworthy Warren and we came across a magnificent stone row, probably Neolithic. I'm not an expert, I don't know. There were lots of habitations there as well, the remains of circular buildings. Really stuff full of history, Dartmoor, and that's just one part that had it clearly. From there we headed onto the moor, onto an old miners' road, which took us then more or less all the way to Princetown. We did divert via a couple of tours, came to Princetown and went to the Fox Tor Cafe, highly recommended. I had a coffee and walnut cake and coffee, and the other guys had a cream tea. From there we've headed out of Princetown up to where we are now, Great Mist Tor, and yeah, it's been a nice evening. I'm sat here at the moment, the temperature is dropping, and the weather forecast for tomorrow is not as good as we would like, but we may have a little bit of rain overnight. The wind's moving to the west, but it should be a dry day for most of tomorrow until the evening when the rain comes in. So that's it for today. 1.5 days to go. We'll have a lovely evening here now, and look forward to tomorrow. Well, it's really grim this morning. Morning of day 4. Wind did move to the west, but it's got really strong as well. So we've got gusts at the moment of 35 to 40 miles an hour. Forecast is for the winds to get stronger as the day goes on, touching 42, 43 miles an hour coming from the west. It is raining at the moment, albeit it's more of a light drizzle on this heavy rain. And then about 2 o'clock this afternoon, some really heavy stuff's going to be pushing through. And then that will remain with us until around about midnight, 1 o'clock or so. And then the winds will begin to drop off. So not quite sure what the plans are today, whether we're going to be doing what we originally planned to do. I've got to speak to the other guys who are in their tents at the moment. But breakfast now, get the wet clothes on, or wet kit on I should say, to remain as dry and as warm as possible, and see what we get to do. So we're descending from the moor, and it's been a blowy old start. Had some rain, it was very windy up there, but we've come down now and we're heading towards Cudlip town. And lower off the moor, the wind has certainly abated and is much more pleasant. From here we're going to head around the edge of the moor to Lidford, where we know there's a farm shop, and we're certainly going to be stopping there and getting a bite to eat and hopefully get a cuppa as well. It's about 10 to 4 on day 4, and you can probably hear the rain smashing against the tent. We put the tents down early because the weather is awful, truly awful. We are camped near the aptly named Bleak House Ruin, which is not far from Brat Tor and Widgery Cross. Today, having left our camp spot this morning, we've skirted around one of the military ranges because there's live firing there today. And we made our way eventually to Lidford. We found a magnificent farm shop there. Had a huge sausage roll and freshly baked rock cake, which had literally just come out of the oven. Cup of coffee, and it set us up nicely for this afternoon. But having climbed up to Widgery Cross, we could see the weather coming. It was behind us, and it's just got progressively worse, and we've got the tents down just in time really. It seems to me that every single time I talk to the camera, I'm in my tent, and I'm afraid that's how this trip has panned out. We've had some good weather, but we've also had some grotty weather too. Tomorrow though, we are expecting a better day. Tomorrow's our last day, and we've got about a half a day walk from here towards Lints Tor, up over High Willhays, and then down towards Oakhampton, where we started and where we will finish. So we'll see you tomorrow. Well, good morning, and good morning from day 5 of our Dartmoor trek. Last night was truly awful. Probably the worst rain I've ever had whilst I've been in this particular tent. And Andrew and Jason both had to move their tents. The ground suddenly became very waterlogged under Andrew's tent, and he had to move it, otherwise everything was going to get soaking wet. He tried digging trenches, but it made no difference. And Jason had to move shortly after because the water was then draining down from where Andrew had his tent. I was the lucky one, there's no doubt about that. This morning it has dawned beautifully, and whilst it's a cold morning, it's dry, and our tents are drying in the sun and the slight breeze at the moment. From here we are going to leave, we're going to walk over the moor. We're at Bleak House Ruin at the moment, and we're going to walk over the moor towards Lints Tor. From Lints Tor to High Willhays, and then back to Oakhampton, where we have the car parked. So for this video, thank you so much for watching it if you've got this far. I hope you've enjoyed it, and the rest of the video will be shots of us walking back towards Oakhampton over beautiful Dartmoor. Windy on Yes Tor.